Hi, I'm James Boyd Brent. I'm a co-op member at High Point. And yeah, I think we're just referring to this piece today called May the 27th. Actually, I've called it May the 27th, 2020 Protest. So this is a straightforward line etching with some engraving in it as well, and dry point. And I was actually sort of, over the summer present at some of the protests that were taking place in Minneapolis after the death of the murder, actually, of George Floyd. And I was really struck by this moment in time. That's why I think I've called it May the 27th. And also, I mean, in terms of the tradition of actually representing moments in time, I'm obviously aware of that history in Western printmaking. And a particular image sprang to mind immediately, actually, afterwards, which was Paul Revere's famous etching called The Boston Massacre, which was actually a very sort of, was a sort of like a visual piece of propaganda that he created. But I was struck by that whole idea. So in a nutshell, I wanted to create a landscape image that sort of represented some of the narratives that were taking place during the protest. I'm obviously very influenced by what's going on right now in life, and I'm sort of, all my work is really about that. Even though it sometimes seems a bit obscure and a bit maybe classical and looking back, and also maybe making references to previous Western art historical periods and things like that, I'm always looking for ways to really express now, actually, and the feelings of being alive now. And actually, the word being really actually is the word here. What does it mean to be in a landscape, as opposed to being a viewer of a landscape or a sort of recorder or something like that? And I feel it's like a kind of a story, really. A story of experience and of being in the world. I think of this as a kind of text, actually. It's a text. And you can actually literally sort of read it from left to right. You could already tell right from the beginning of the summer in Minneapolis, the way that people were talking about protests was not actually corresponding with what was really happening. And there was a sort of a narrative that was kind of ending up really dominating, actually, how people thought about protesting generally. And I think it still persists now, actually. It's kind of settled as a kind of a bad thing, as if somehow to protest things is bad. And I mean, this is just so completely opposite the idea of everything that we all stand for, really, in terms of believing in democracy and free speech and so on. And so just on a little simple personal level, I definitely felt that, this is very in keeping with my style of recording vignettes of goings on in the everyday world and so on. But also I definitely wanted to record a sense of how things are, how they feel if you're there.